Good evening and welcome to 5 on Your Sideline. I'm Holden Kerwicki.
And I'm Annie Kroll. Corey is enjoying a well-deserved day off, but we have a baseline view of some of the best games on both sides of the bi-state. So Holden, will you do the honor since Corey's not here? Will you kick us off?
I will. We're going to start tonight with the longtime rivals in the Metro Catholic Conference, Chaminade and CBC. The Red Devils would come out hot in this one. Johnny Jordan going to drive and find teammate Madden Irving all alone for that three. That puts Chaminade up 9 early. Now Irving, he can play both sides of the ball. Watch as he slides his feet, keeps his hands active, and Colin Perry's going to pick up that ball and go coast to coast for the lay-in. CBC would need a timeout, but this is going to be exactly how Sam Briscoe drew it up. Teron Garrett with the one-hand pass to Darion DeBose to make it an 11-point game. But it just wouldn't be enough as Chaminade holds on for the 65-59 road win.
Nail biter right there. Well, Eureka was cheering on their boys against Francis Howell tonight. Howell throwing across the court for one of their early shots. Watch this, all the way over in the corner. It looks like a football pass almost. That's Arthur Kincaid with the catch for Francis Howell and 3 points. But it's going to be Eureka Mason Dunlap who says right here, excuse me, I will take 2 points. Thank you very much. The senior point guard get that one in. It's going to be an interesting game though. They need those there's 3 free throws. It's going to be Francis Howell who ends up having some consistency right around there. Eureka just so confused about what's happening. It's Eureka students who are going to figuring out that, Francis Howell is going to end up taking the win. Final score for that game is going to be 48-38.
Across the river on the STL Hillside, we had some 6-1-8 hoops in Columbia as they took on number 2 ranked Breeze Central, and the boys from Clinton County came to play tonight. Mason Schubert, well, you got to close out on that or else he's going to do that. Now the Cougars will continue lighting it up from long range. That time it's Colton Arnold, and Central had the 3 balls flowing like an ice cold ski tonight. Arnold again from deep, this time from the corner. Columbia would battle back though behind 17 points from Hayes Van Bruzigen. Central, though, was just too much in the end as the Cougars come away with a 41-34 win.
Well, how about Marquette and Lafayette? Lafayette hosting the Marquette Mustangs on Friday. This was a game that was fought almost exclusively under the basket. Look at this. It's going to be Marquette's Jalen White right here, just muscling his way through some traffic and putting that basket up. The 6'2 Mustang fighting his way in the paint. But the Lancers are going to come in inside as well. The junior throwing in Henry Preckle for one more basket. He's going to fight that one in. It was much needed. And then there's going to be just one more shot that's going to be inside the arc. Watch this, a quick hook inside from number 10 with the Mustangs, and they're going to end up fighting their way to a victory. It was a tight finish though. Marquette can't pull it off. 41 with Lafayette's score of 45.
Elsewhere tonight, SLU High invaded the Palace on Ballast for a matchup with the Smet, and I know Erwin Claggett's going to love this first highlight. Look at this ball movement from the junior Bills. Patrick Martin drives baseline, finds Nick Ray. The sophomore knocks down the wing 3. By the way, Ray has, well, a deep bag of tricks. He used all of them on this drive. He gets in the lane and gets the circus layup to go. Somebody put him on the N1 mixtape tour. DeSmet would have an answer, though, in the form of junior Owen Duff. He is just absolutely pure from the corner. DeSmet, in the end, would pull out a hard-fought victory, 59-53 in your final.
That 3-point was like butter right there.
Right. We had Southwestern Conference bragging rights on the line tonight at Belleville West as the Maroons welcome in Eastside. West showing they weren't afraid of the Flyers early. David Marshall Jr., he gets 2. Looked like he got fouled, didn't get the call. A little bit later, it's Brandon, don't call me Michael Scott, turning on the Jets for the blow-by. Eastside would try and answer back, but Robert McCline's going to dribble into trouble, and Miles Liddell, well, he's cleared for takeoff. The Flyers, though, would finally get things straightened out behind this give and go for Montreal Stacker. East St. Louis holds on for the 68-65 win. They're 5-2 on the season, Annie.
Whew, they needed that. Well, let's talk about visitation. Vivets went into Webster Groves tonight looking for a big win, and they got off to a solid start early after a couple of fakes. Adri Pevinali is going to give it for off, and that's 3 points. And then it's going to be Mia Turbez who goes in for another 3 points. The Statesmen have some great shooters of their own, though. Ava Vanekek is going to look like Steph Curry right now, just out there making her threes, and all of a sudden you're going to have some pump fakes, you're going to have some jabs, some steps, driving this one into the paint from the outside, and that's another 3 points, much needed. From there, Webster was just keeping up pace. Webster Groves is going to end up running away with this one. It was a score of 40-24 for the final.
All right, let's talk a little college ball. Annie, I know your Northwestern Wildcats.
I am Holden. It was an interesting situation. I would rather just remember when we beat Purdue and not when we just recently lost. That would be great.
Well, all right, we won't talk about that, but we are less than 7 days away from bragging rights, and the Mizzou Tigers and the Illinois Fighting Illini are busy preparing for the their annual rivalry game right here in St. Louis.
The now 16th ranked Illini is in the midst of its longest break of the season, having last played Saturday in a loss to Tennessee. This afternoon, the team was back at practice ahead of Sunday's game against Colgate. Head coach Brad Underwood explains how the team gets better without any game action.
We don't worry about our opponent. We worry about the things that you go back over a 3 or 4 game stretch and you dig deep into your analytics. Okay, this is what we're not doing. This is where we're struggling. This is what we've got to clean up.
Colgate. I brushed my teeth there with that earlier.
Same thing, Holden.
In Columbia, Mizzou, also on a finals week break, having played their last game on Saturday, losing a close one to number 2 Kansas. The Tigers are preparing for Seton Hall this Sunday in Kansas City. Head coach Dennis Gates explained why the Tigers are forging home court advantage in this matchup.
Kansas City is important to me because it's a place that I want to be able to play basketball because obviously being in Como is one thing, but we have a game in Illinois or against Illinois in St. Louis. We wanted to play and bring our team to Kansas City, and this is the opportunity to do so.
Well, Blues interim head coach Drew Bannister is getting ready for his second game behind the bench against the Dallas Stars tomorrow. In his coaching debut last night, he reunited the Notes' top line.
Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, and Pavel Buchnevich rewarded Bannister, combining for 6 points in last night's win over Ottawa. Thomas scored the first 2 goals of the game, while Kyrou assisted on the Buchnevich goal. Post-game, Bannister talked about the top line stepping up and adding any continued success. Well, it's up to the players, especially Jordan Kyrou.
Jordan Kyrou is an outstanding hockey player. I know he's not playing to his potential, and he's probably the first person to point that out. But we need to get him going. Like, if we're going to have success, Jordan's going to be a big part of that.
Well said, Coach.
Doug Armstrong actually called out Kyrou earlier as a guy who's really struggled this year. He is the Blues' highest paid player. Obviously, everybody wanting a little more out of him. The Blues fans let him hear it last night.
I would agree, and if we're going to talk about high-paid players, should we talk about Ohtani? No? Later?
Not right now. Not right now.
Off camera.
That's going to do it for 5 on Your Sideline tonight. For Annie Kroll, I'm Holden Kerwicki. Have a great night, St. Louis.